people just don't know all of the stuff that happens in the background, and it's a shame because the people that kind of hear the stuff and believe it, like me, us naive, crazy conspiracy theorists, the world is ruined now, right? But it's the people that have the blinders on that don't know any of this stuff, right? Like you, it's like, yeah, what do I focus on? Oh, just the stuff I can control, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, we're living in a goddamn Congo, god damn it. We're being bled to death, TK.
Hold on a second, Darryl. We had an election. Jesus, by.
A what?
Jesus.
Can we define? I bet you if you read.
Is everybody mad at me now that because I voted for the Green Party? Is everyone mad at me?
I think everybody thinks that you voted.
Apparently, the majority of people are not mad at me because they voted for the Liberals, and nobody cared when I said that before. Everyone's like, "Yo, man, the popular vote wasn't in the favor, but it was because the seats." Listen, look at the sea of red across the country. Like, there's a whole lot of liberals in this country. Holy smokes!
There's
number one reason.
Yeah.
Fight against Trump. That's what I heard.
Seemingly, there are a lot of liberals in this country that voted and have no other reason other than Trump is evil. Trump is bad.
Well, that's what their number one concern is who's going to be able to fight Trump. And that's a legitimate concern. But I mean, like, it's not like the most important concern. This is like a temporary thing we got going on right now. Like, what about all the other stuff? What about the last 10 years? Doesn't anyone remember?
What about the housing crisis? Do we have a housing crisis? Are we in a housing crisis? Or what's going on? Because there seems to be a lot of inventory, more inventory coming, and nobody seems to be buying it, which used to be the problem, TK. The problem was we didn't have enough for the people to buy. Now we have enough for the people to buy. We have no people willing to buy. And so did we ever have a crisis? Do we still have a crisis? Are we short on housing? Are we not short on housing? What is the deal, TK? For those people that haven't subscribed to this thing,
why not?
I just don't get it.
What the heck are you doing?
We're close to 10,000. We're
I need to look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. And
guys, you got to get to
Clips
10,000.
channel. Like, what's going on? Clips channel's ripping. I'll bet all those other guys wish they had Clips channels, TK.
I bet all those other guys wish they had as many views per week on all of our channels like we do.
It's truly insane. I was calculating it the other day, and
It's billions.
It's
billions.
How many billions of views can people watch of Canadian real estate, for
billions? It's incredible. It's incredible. Well, I'll tell you, I did something stupid this week.
I'll bet.
I bought a condo.
Yes, you did. Did you go firm? Did you get it?
Firmed up.
Look at you, TK. Look
like
at
a dummy. Like a dummy.
Like a dummy. Firm offer.
I could have waited longer for a better deal. But you know what? I said forget it. I'm getting
made up your mind?
Yeah, I'm getting in my opinion, 30+% discount.
From when?
Off peak.
Off peak. Yeah. Now you know off peak. Every other time I ask you off peak, you don't know. But when you're buying it, you know.
30%.
Important stat,
30%
right?
off peak. I thought, yeah, that's good enough for me. I'm not greedy.
It makes you feel like you got a good deal, right?
Yeah, but it's market. It's not like it's like cheaper than like everybody else. It's just that's just what the price is. The market, where that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then
congratulations.
We made another offer on another property, but I don't know. We'll see where that one's gonna go.
Are you looking for the best merch store on the planet? Well, we got the shit for you. Coming in at low prices where we barely make any money off of whatsoever, you can get the greatest real estate merchandise on this platform. Just look at this very flamboyant man putting on this great stuff. He looks great, he's dancing great, and boy does he look sexy in that merchandise. I tell you, buy this for anybody, you buy this for yourself. You will be not only repping the greatest Canadian real estate podcast in this world, but you will also be looking hella good doing it.
But anyways, I think it's a good time to buy. I don't know.
TK's
Maybe I'm
buying,
wrong.
everybody. Yeah,
Maybe
listen.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm stupid.
I mean, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Are you wrong? Is it a good time to buy, TK? Well, I mean,
The fundamentals is
you're
what you got to look
buying.
at. Cash
Yeah.
flow, you got to look at, like how much is your mortgage? How much is the rent going to be? If this makes sense and you're happy and, the money that you have for a down payment and all that kind of stuff, that's your best return, then, why not?
So you're buying condos, you're buying 10 plexes, right? Did
Maybe.
you buy that or you put
No,
an
not
offer
yet.
on that? You're
Put an offer in
thinking
on that
about
one.
that.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're buying. I'm not buying nothing right now. If anybody brought me something to buy, I would be like, no,
No,
I don't even
thanks.
want to look at that. Thank you
But
very
your
much.
deals, I wouldn't want to be doing any of your deals right now. That's for sure.
You wouldn't want to be doing one of my deals right now?
No, like a big land deal right now and trying to have to get financing and trying to
Well,
have
it,
to do all the planning on it and stuff. Like you better be getting that thing for like so cheap. Like it better be so freaking cheap. You can't believe how good it is.
no, but even then, I mean, listen, depending on the product, okay,
Yeah.
there is an appetite still for high end stuff and the land that's underneath it.
Yeah.
There is a high demand for that stuff. Trust me, I can't even believe it myself. But
Hmm.
I am so glad that I do not currently own my previous project on Kingston Road anymore.
Yeah.
From what I gather and what I think, the guys who bought it from me are not doing so well at the moment. Not because of that deal, but because of, well, I guess the underwriting of that deal at the time, it was probably not the smartest move on their part. Me getting rid of it was brilliance. Them buying it, not so good, right?
Mhm.
Now, having said that, there is so many people right now that are like, I don't know what to do with this thing. I can't tell anybody I don't know what to do with this thing, but like the walls are starting to cave in, right?
Mm.
There's I've said it so many times. How long can like the money behind the deal wait for you to just try and find the right time to launch or figure out how to turn it into a purpose-built rental? The thing is, TK, is with the prices that people paid for stuff, it's very hard to not do at least what you were thinking, as your minimum worst case scenario, right?
Hmm.
Which for most is not, townhouses on a downtown site that they paid 150 million for, right?
Not gonna happen.
No. And so if you needed to have X amount of units or X amount of square feet that sold for X amount of dollars, you're kind of cooked right now, right? Because you cannot turn a 500 square foot bachelor or one bedroom or turn two of them into 1,000 square foot 2 or 3 bedroom and still make enough money, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
work because
Yeah.
people can't afford a condo for so goddamn much, right?
Yeah.
The problem that we have, TK, to answer my own question, is that
Please do.
we still we have a housing mismatch at the moment. TK, we have tons of housing. We have tons of people that want housing, need housing, like roofs over their heads.
Hmm.
But we don't have the product at the price point that anybody can do or wants to do. So it's like this waiting game going on, or I don't know what's going to happen actually, because like if you look at any of these sites downtown that needed to get 30, 40, 50 stories, like that they have to have average size units of 600 square feet, 550 square feet, right? Chopped up all kinds of crazy ways, right? So that they can get maximum price. And no one's buying this now. No, when is somebody, what would make, okay, well, you did it. So what made you 30% under peak? Is this a magic number? What?
No, but I mean, my situation is different. But the bottom line is pre-construction. That's the real ticket. It's where do those people, um, where did those people in the past come from?
Crazyville.
So one, a lot of them were using money in that game that they had already made with previous deals. So they're recycling it. You know, they're taking their profits and then they're
Rolling it in.
rolling them into the next deal over and over and over again. And then as they're making more and more money and they're like, I made 200 grand, I made 300 grand, I made whatever. They're showing their friends and family. Then their friends and families are taking their life savings and saying, hey, I should be going
Yeah.
into pre-constructions too. Then once things got crazy, then everyone started borrowing money and say, if I get a mortgage on my house and I can get a line of credit or, you know, I can use money that I'm not supposed to be using in order to be able to put down as a down payment. I'm going to flip it. I got a call from a guy recently. Same thing, you know. Hey, what do you think we can do with this? We don't plan on closing. Never planned on closing. Thought we could assign it, and flip it early. And it's like, well, you can't. So
Yeah.
get ready to close. You know, thank God it's only 500, $600,000,
Yeah, but there's
not
so many
two
of those
million
coming.
dollars because you were trying to, you know, I don't know what you were trying to do,
But there's
but
like thousands and tens of
thousands of
thousands
those.
of them
So
coming.
the point of my story is those people just don't exist anymore. We just like we just don't have anybody. The people who kept rolling their money, they're now gonna lose it all. Like not all of it, but they're losing their nest egg, right? The part that they were rolling over each time.
Yeah.
The people who are gambling and took money from other places, that's gone. So like they're not gonna come in. Nobody new is gonna come into the market. And so the only time that the pre-construction condo market should come back, in my opinion, is when they start catering it towards end users.
That's
And
what I'm
that
saying.
you're going to
So
just have a bunch of people who are going to say, well, I want to buy because that's going to be a suitable product for me to live in, which is what we're lacking. And so therefore, that's what we'll start to build.
that's what we're going to start to build. But
No.
this is the problem that hasn't rinsed through the system yet. Well, one, we see there's thousands of condos on the market for rent, there's thousands for sale, there's
Hmm.
thousands and thousands more coming. And um, you have to buy the site with the intent of making these large units. And the metrics have to make sense at the beginning, right? Because
Hmm.
people have to, you can't just say we're going to make big 1,000 or 1,200 square foot family size suites and charge $1,400 a square foot and assume that people are paying $2.8 million for your condos, right?
Hmm.
There, there's this equilibrium that like we're nowhere near, right? Between what people can afford, what people want, what's out there, and what can be made in this like magical unicorn zone that people can actually pull the trigger and do with interest rates in there too. God damn it. Right.
Hmm.
So like it's a crazy mix. But if you buy the site thinking you're going to get 30 stories and this much square footage and that it should sell at this much, and now all of a sudden you have to turn that into like half the suites, right? You're not getting the same amount of money per square foot on those bigger units. Although now you kind of are, which is crazy. Now those ones are so in demand that they're getting more per square foot. So
Mm.
actually cancel everything I just said, TK. Maybe it's possible, but nobody's able to make it work unless it's really high end stuff in a top notch neighborhood. Nothing else is happening right now. Like
Mm.
literally nothing. You see the same emails come in for like the last few units in the same building for like the last 5 months now. You know, you see what I just saw an
Oh, there's a
assignment.
launch today. There's a launch today. I think it was Jordan's, not launch. I don't know if you call it that, but like an email today about an upcoming launch. Um, Pre-condo, Milton. Remember he was talking to us about this when he was on our show last.
Yeah,
$800 a square
840 a square
foot.
foot in Milton. I talked to him on the phone though after,
Yeah.
and well, it hasn't launched till now.
Well, okay. Well,
I wonder what's
obviously,
happening with that.
well,
You can't make
obviously
money.
they're trying to get the most amount of money here, you know, like they're waiting and waiting and waiting, but now they've realized, wait, no more.
Wait, no
And the
more.
email went out today. So $800 a foot in Milton.
That
Makes
makes
sense to me.
sense. Yeah, 800 bucks a foot. Well, that's probably expensive compared to the 1,100 people were paying, a couple years ago in Milton. That makes
Listen, eight
sense.
eight hundred bucks. You're barely like building it. You're barely building
Yeah,
it. It's
I don't know
like
how you're making money.
you're just getting by. At $800 a square foot.
Yeah.
So I think as an end user, if I'm buying a unit and I know what I'm getting, look, people like new. people always will buy new flashy stuff. It's just the way people are. They want the newest. They don't want. There's people who will not move into properties that other people have lived in. Okay.
Mhm.
You might not have ever heard that before, but we run into that in our industry. There are people that are like, no, I will not move into a house that somebody else has slept in. And you're like, okay,
Yeah, I
like,
believe it.
that's
It's
your
pretty
choice.
gross. Yeah,
That's your
listen.
thing, So like people want brand new. And so there'll be people who want to buy brand new from the builder. And that's now at $800 a foot. I think a great deal because you're going to pay 500, $600, whatever it is in Milton for a resale, but somebody's lived there. And that's
Yeah,
5 years old, 10 years old,
but you
whatever.
still you're paying like uh, in Milton, you're paying what you should be paying for a house for a condo. Because like, let's be real, you shouldn't be
600
paying
square feet, 480 grand in Milton. No, Milton's a nice
480
place.
grand is okay, I guess, for
Milton's a
Milton.
nice place.
I saw a assignment for a condo. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it was a good deal. I forget where it was, but it was 350 grand. And I was like, for
Buy
350 grand, 550 square feet, like maybe just buy it. But then I was like, maybe next month it's like 325 this unit, right? Because
yeah.
people are people
That was my mindset. I knew like this condo is going to keep dropping and it's not going to make sense. But again, just like what are the fundamentals? If you're cash flowing, you're cash flowing. That's good enough. If it makes sense, it makes sense. The stock market's all over the place right now. I got my little plays in there, but I'm not going to like double down or anything like that. I don't understand the stock market like I do real estate as much
uh,
or nearly as much at all.
no, from the sounds of it, you don't understand the stock market at all.
Well, I mean, I don't do very well in it. My TFCA does. TFSA does really good. My TFSA is the only thing that makes sense because I actually follow people's advice on how to invest in the
That's
stock
right. You
market.
leave it with
But
someone
anything
else.
else outside of that is just absolutely necessary. No, it's all self-managed.
Well,
But
listen, so clearly our friend is not joining us today. That's supposed to join us. And we haven't talked about the election, TK. Like you mentioned it briefly, and then you went off onto some tirade about yourself. And
go
we
for
got to
it.
get back onto
Sorry,
that.
I'm sorry. I won't talk about myself again.
No, TK. It's okay. But there's an election that just happened. And you see, this is how we know it went in your favor and that you're really a liberal, TK, because you just fluffed it off like nothing really happened.
Well, like I'll tell you my opinion on it, and I didn't vote liberal, but I'd like to pretend I do just to upset people
Yeah.
because apparently everybody voted
Everybody.
liberal. So it's
Everybody
like it's
and
not like
mother.
I'm too upset about it. But I just look at what I can do on my side of the street here, okay?
Yeah.
What
What's
is
on your
TK
side of the
able
street?
to
What can
do?
you do? What are you able to
Call
do?
my clients, make sure that I'm helping them sell their properties, achieve their goals, make sure that I'm, keeping up with my taxes and my family and going to the gym and staying healthy and waking up every day with like
Sounds
a,
very new age to me,
positive
TK.
attitude. You know what I
This is
mean? Like,
very new age
why am I going
stuff.
to start complaining about how the world is going to end because now our prime minister is, who he is? Like, I agree. I hope the results were going to be different, but they aren't. So I
They're
move on.
not.
I move on
So
quick.
did Carney have a better plan for the housing market than our friend Mr. Paulie Everett? Or like who had
It
the better
sounded like it's the same plan. It didn't feel like anything was
right.
really that great, other than Polly Evers' willingness to have the uh, like the 1031 exchange, like in the States where you could reinvest the
Oh
money
yeah,
back
that
into
was a good idea.
assets instead of capital gains. That was a
That was
great
a
idea.
great idea.
Wow. That was a
Now
home run, but
instead,
apparently it wasn't. It was a
no,
bunt,
no, now
and they threw him out at
instead,
first.
yeah, and rather we have to pay taxes on our equity in our houses, right? Like we have to pay some kind of capital gains on the equity sitting in our
That's what people are
houses now.
saying that he's going to introduce because that's
Right.
what the Liberal government was having discussions with the group who is an advocate of that in the past. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a bold statement to say that it's going to come through. That would be a big obstacle when you're considering who the voting populace is. But we'll see.
The voting populace is obviously mentally challenged at best.
Well,
Should most of them, okay, this is why I had the best idea. And I don't know if I
this is
said it
what
here.
democracy is all about. Everyone
Okay.
says democracy is the way to go. Great, great, great. Okay,
I
well,
mean,
like then don't complain afterwards. That's the whole point.
you shouldn't be able to vote until you're 18 and you shouldn't be allowed to vote after you're 65. Okay, it's enough. After you're 65, it's like let the next group take control.
You
Right?
don't have any say. You're
You
gonna
don't.
die soon. You don't need to
Yeah,
like vote on anything.
I'm telling you.
We'll take care of you. Don't worry.
I saw this show once, and I
Oh my
forget what it
God.
was, or maybe it was a movie, but I
Yeah.
remember it
Please don't
so
cut that into
vividly.
a short,
No,
Aiden. Please don't.
please don't. Make sure you do. I remember watching this show or movie where once the elders got to a certain age, and I forget what it was. It was probably like, 60 or let's say 62. Not too old, but like definitely like past prime.
Yeah.
And what they made them do, it was a whole ceremony, and the whole village would like circle around, and it was a whole thing. And they'd go up on top of this mountain, and like they went to like an edge on a cliff. And then the old people, once they hit the certain age, they jumped off.
Mm.
And that was it. And that's how they dealt with the population. That's how they made sure that the older people didn't fuck around with the
Maybe it's like a
politics.
hyperbole or something. You know what I mean? Like this is just like,
Thought it was a
you
good
know,
idea.
yeah. No, we should protect our old people and that they should have, the most rights because they're the ones who've paid for all the way, for them to get there. I mean, CPP is funded, which is good. I just heard that the other day, so that I shouldn't
Yeah,
have
we
to
have
worry
enough
about
for
that. But
that. Yeah.
old age
Print some money for that.
security, that's probably something that's not going to be around for very much longer.
Well, I'm sure it
But
covers all the bills. I'm sure it's like you're living like a king on that stuff, right?
yeah,
You're
no,
like sitting there in your
you're
old
you're eating crafting or growing your own
recliner.
vegetables.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
your Sealy
with
Easy
chickens, and
Boy.
the chickens are in your living room. So I mean, listen,
Are they
voting
live
it's
chickens?
either a democracy or it's not a democracy. I mean, not a popular opinion, but obviously for me, um, yeah, I think that we've got, too many elections, too many politicians, too many choices, too many like when you look at Pierre Poilievre's riding,
Yeah.
how
Too many choices. That's what I
what
was
kind
just
of
thinking.
game was that?
Oh no, there's nothing going on there at all. What are you
Right?
talking
There
about?
was only 4 options on my card. How
I
come
had
there's
three.
70 on his?
I had three. I didn't even read two of them. I just went
Yeah.
right for the blue guy.
Okay.
And
It's in black and white, but I understand what you meant by that.
well, yeah, the conservative guy who,
Hmm.
okay, listen, I did my part, TK.
You
My
did
guy
great.
won in his riding. Okay. My 4 votes
Mostly because of your
probably,
household.
right? We
Yeah.
swung the thing. I
Yeah.
did my part. The rest of you fuckers all ended up with liberal MPs
Yeah.
all across the nation.
Here's my take on it. Okay.
What? Yeah, tell me.
And I'm gonna be truthful here. Like this is like, I think a lot of conservative MPs got into the game because they thought it was a guaranteed win.
Yeah,
And so a bunch of people jumped into the race going, I got this. I'm gonna be a politician.
yeah,
And then what happened?
yeah, yeah.
Nothing. They didn't
No,
knock on doors. They didn't work. Existing MP who had already been elected the last election, they already had the community. They already knew the people. They already were sending out their flyers. They had their little home base set up in some plaza that no one else wants to run a business in. They already had all those things done. Where the new conservative MP thought, "Oh, this is going to be a walk in the park," and I don't think they tried very hard. They
no.
didn't knock on my door. I remember people knocking on my door especially when the provincial election happened and Dougie was taking over. They were knocking on my door, having conversations with me. They didn't even knock on my door.
Well, I
So
told
how
you
bad
about
did they
my
really
guy.
want it? I know it's a
Sure.
short window to do the election, but get out there and work, guys. Come on, that's why you lost. Don't blame anybody but yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. There's all kinds of things. I don't think this election is unique in the fact that, listen, there's so much at stake here. Okay. People don't
Mhm.
play fair when there's nothing at stake. Okay. When there's running the country that has one of the biggest natural resource reserves on the planet, people are willing to do some stuff that, maybe is necessary, maybe isn't, but seems to be the way things are. And so all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't remember advanced voting ever. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't remember it. I don't remember it. I don't remember ever hearing stories about people taking boxes of voting cards home or whatever votes home and then bringing them back on Monday morning. I never heard that kind of shit before. I I, I feel like even though Pierre lost his way a little bit and kind of like lost his charisma as things went on, like the lead that he had, people just don't know all of the stuff that happens in the background. And it's a shame because the
Mhm.
people that kind of hear the stuff and believe it, like me, us naive, crazy conspiracy theorists,
Mhm.
the world is ruined now, right? But it's the people that have the blinders on that don't know any of this stuff, right? Like you, it's like, yeah, what do I focus on? Oh, just the stuff I can control, blah blah blah. But meanwhile, we're
Yeah.
living in a goddamn Congo. God damn it, we're being bled to death. TK, we don't even
Tubes
know it.
coming out of our every hole, every orifice of our body.
We don't even realize how fucking slaved up we are
Well,
here,
let's
right?
talk about his book a little bit, like about how, his idea of like the future, like shouldn't have that have been like taken
Should,
into consideration?
Well, I
Like
think some of us took it into consideration, but then like we
it's
people don't want to
insanity.
read. Yeah,
Yeah, like the
people
net
don't want to
zero
read.
whole like that's failed, right? That hasn't worked. Nobody's into it. None of the big corporations are into it. Europe, it's failed. Everybody's just like, okay, why were we even bothering? Like, what a waste of time that is.
It's all
Um,
Crazyville.
the fact that he's, levered up with all the big boys across the world and all of their, side missions on how they're going to take over countries and stuff like that. Like that should be a little bit concerning,
You'd
you know?
think a little concerning, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I mean, any politician that whips up in a Rolls Royce should be, maybe not. As I say this, I would always think previously, like, we need a good entrepreneur to run these countries. You know what I
Uh,
mean? It was like these politicians don't know what the fuck
drama
they're doing,
teachers aren't
right?
cutting it.
They're
Yeah.
not cutting it. And then so we get Trump, who, I mean, I don't know what the hell's got into that guy. I used to be a Trump supporter, and now I'm like, this is just crazyville. Well, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. I'm
Running a
so
business. So you thought a
right. You'd
entrepreneurial,
think this guy could like run the world, run the country better, and it
yeah.
seemed like he was gonna, and then he went kind of mental. We'll see how that works out. But then here you get Carney, who's like running Brookfield and like running the government in the background and like, whatever else he's doing and,
Yeah.
running banks of countries, right? Like the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada. And I mean, even I was sitting there going, man, they're making this guy look pretty good, right?
Hmm.
And if you didn't know about all that stuff, like reading his book, let's say, right?
Sure.
Or any, or like the Epstein Island stuff, or like if
Yeah.
you didn't
No
know
one
any of
really
this
talked
stuff,
about Epstein either. That
but
was
if,
just like thrown at him at a few rallies and like
right?
they did some clips and stuff like that. But like mainstream media is just like not willing to discuss anything against him whatsoever.
No, because
Like there
people
was
want to
never
hate Trump so
any,
much,
there was
right?
no bad press whatsoever,
They
you
want to
know?
hate Trump so much, like that they
Yeah.
just leaned into that. And everybody was like, yeah, all these older people, like my parents, they hate Trump. They don't even know why, right? They just
Yeah.
like grew up with the media saying Trump is a piece of shit or Trump is this, Trump is that. And then
Yeah.
over time, they believed it. They were part of that machine. They believed everything, whether right or wrong. I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if the picture of him with Epstein, for God's sakes, could be AI. I mean, I can make it right now, right?
Yeah.
The stuff I'm making with Chat GPT now, these pictures are next level crazy. It's
I
so
think he would have
insane.
came out and said something. Instead, he just like dodged the topic. Like people would bring it
Right.
up and he would just be like, next.
No.
Otherwise, he would have been like, those are fake photos. Like nobody has a real photo of me on the island with my finger up the. Never mind.
Whoa.
So
No, but seriously, it's like, no, don't say anything about anything, is I think the instructions. Like, no matter what comes out, just don't say anything about it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like, talk in some weird language after, and then people will be distracted by that. Did you see the whole thing going on with Carney's wife? First of all, did you see Carney dancing after? Did you see that video?
yeah. I thought he was a horrible dancer. I mean,
Horrible
I'm not so
dancer.
great either.
Did you see this part when he was doing this, like with the
Okay,
devil
is
horns
is
above his
this
head?
a is this like a
This is for
Is this
real,
a new
man.
thing?
No,
I
this
saw
is for
that, but is
real.
that like a new thing? Like
No,
that was
so
his
then
signal to basically say to the world, like, I got you.
I don't
And he was
know.
like, I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna do this
He was
right now
like,
while I'm dancing,
he was
and I'm
doing
gonna
it,
signal to the
right?
world, like,
I'm part of the club, bro.
you, you
Right?
guys
You
got
can count
fooled.
on me.
You guys
No.
got fooled. Ready? One, two. No,
So
I
hold on.
don't
So
think
hold
that's what
on.
happened, Daryl.
So
But
but
thank you.
then so his wife, who did like a little introductory speech and
Yep.
said something that people they couldn't tell what she said. They couldn't hear it.
Oh,
Sound like she was saying, here's your prime minister who's gonna make Canada strong and Canada, and nobody knew what the next word was. And everybody was like saying she said poor or broke or make Canada uh,
American.
whatever. Like I don't think that came up, but it was like it sounded like she said something kind of evil, right?
Mm.
Um, but it's not the case.
Well,
And
this sounds like the biggest case of hearsay I ever
no, it's for
heard.
real. Kale.
Well, what I'm talking about is we don't even know what she said. Part of the story is like we
No, I
don't know what
figured it
she
out,
said,
TK.
but you're
I figured it out. She was speaking French, bro.
she said something in French,
She
and the
said it
word
in
she said was
French.
strong. Again,
Strong
strong
again in
and free.
French,
Strong
right?
and free. Yeah.
No, she said strong in English, and then she said strong in French.
Strong again in French. Yeah.
Four. Everybody
So
went bananas,
what
TK.
happens now? So Poilievre didn't win his own riding. So he's not an MP.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened,
And
but he
then
can
so
still
but he
be
can still be the
the
leader of the party.
opposition. Yeah.
Yeah. Which like
Yeah. Do we want that?
do you know what I'm
Well,
saying? And like he's our boy, we've invited him on the show, but he didn't respond.
that's
But
one of the reasons he didn't fucking win. I'll
well, that's
bet
why Greg Brady didn't win. Greg
for
if Greg
sure.
we did invite Greg on the show, and if he came, he definitely would have won because
He didn't
everybody
even
loves
answer
Greg.
the email, that son of a bitch.
But Poilievre, like if you're not an elected MP, I don't know how strongly I feel about you
I
being the
think
leader of the opposition.
it's
You
time
know what I
for a new
mean?
opposition leader. Let's get that Melissa
Listen, sorry,
Lantsman in
bro.
here. She's
Sorry,
a
man.
firecracker. No, get a little
Uh,
bit of that lesbian energy into the
what about the
opposition.
premier of Alberta?
Oh yeah, Danielle Smith.
Wow,
Whoa, she
I
needs to
know.
be. She needs to
Hot.
be the next. I don't know if she's hot, but she's
Well, not in
strong.
like that way,
She's
but I mean just like
determined. She's
she
on
should be the next
fire.
prime minister. Yeah, we
She
should
should
vote
be
her
the
in.
next prime minister. It
Yeah.
will never happen. They'll murder
Yeah.
her. They'll
Well,
murder
either
her.
way, like she's got a really good stance right now. I mean, you look at
She's great.
how Alberta's been treated for so long and all the different issues they've got. Like they're fed up.
I think we
They're
need to
blue. They're
bomb
they're
Alberta.
bleeding blue tears over there,
We need to bomb them. We need to set the record straight, TK.
Bomb them.
Yeah, what's this referendum bullshit? Listen to me, TK.
There's no way they're separating.
We need to bomb them. Okay, you can't bomb Quebec when they complain because everybody wants them to leave. Different story. Alberta,
We'll roll out the red carpet for that.
they have the oil. Okay,
Just give us.
It's
Yeah.
not theirs, TK.
Yeah,
The
it's not
oil
theirs.
is ours.
Our
It's
oil.
our
Don't
oil.
take our
God
oil.
damn it! What do you guys think you're
Where you
doing?
guys think you're going without oil?
You
You can
think-
leave.
you can
but
leave.
The oil stays.
The oil stays.
Oil and gas stays with us.
right? Like
Yeah.
if you
It's
want
like
to
the
go
kid
to
who wants to take his net home in street hockey. You're like, listen, bud, leave the goalie pads on the ground.
yeah, what do you
Wipe
doing,
your tears. Go home. We'll return your net after we're done. All right. But
little
otherwise,
bitch? You
we
little
need you,
bitch.
we need you in net. Get back in net and stop your
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
But-
basically what the relationship's like.
kind of. But for real,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, how many people are there? God damn it, in Alberta, like just go south, leave. If you want to leave, all of you leave. Leave everything where it is. Okay, we'll take care of it. They are the stewards. They are the management layer of the oil and energy sector of what is Canada. It's not yours. God damn it.
Mm.
You can't have it.
No,
Can't have it.
can't have it.
Can't have it. So
That's like the whole point of a country's economic engine, right?
No.
Is those natural resources. So it's
I-
like the province is just like one part. We might give you the constitutional right to regulate it just because we want to make sure that you guys, take care of it. But it doesn't mean that if you want to leave, you just got to get up and go with it.
it's like taking the computer and leaving me the keyboard. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing now?
Right?
Right? Like, what is
Yeah.
this shit? Now what do I
Yeah.
have? Aluminum?
Yeah.
Some from fucking hydropower? Like, what am I gonna do now?
Potash?
Well, potash is okay.
It's
But
all right.
how are we supposed to survive if Alberta takes Alberta
They're not going
and
anywhere.
everything.
Alberta's not going anywhere, but they're
That
going to put
just
up a stink.
we need to bomb them.
We're gonna have some really tough conversations. It puts a little bit of a divide in the country again, right?
Little
Like it just
bomb,
puts that
maybe.
little bit of no, but it just puts that little bit of tension, between Ontario and the West.
Yeah.
You know,
Little
and
pressure on Carney.
I hope what it does is it highlights the fact, and I know I keep hating on Quebec, but no one from Quebec watches this show, so I'm not too worried about that.
We have
But I
somebody
hope,
coming on next week, I think, from Quebec, actually.
well, then next week I'll let them know how I feel. But it's important for us to understand that too much money is going from Alberta into Quebec. It's not fair. Okay. And that
Mm.
there's too many programs and there's too many, French language, preservation like, listen, Darryl and I both went to French immersion when we were young. Neither one of us can put together a proper sentence in French. I've heard his French. All right. Neither one of us can put together a proper sentence in
Little
French.
practice. Little
All right. We
practice.
need some practice and then
That
it'll
could
come
be
right back like riding a bike. All right. But
like a
why?
really
It's
stupid
because
bike.
you don't need to speak French in this country,
Yeah.
right? You don't.
No.
And so
Not unless you're prime
let
minister.
them, you want to speak French at home? Okay, great. But like stop using federal funds in order for them to be able to, brainwash everybody into not learning how to speak English properly. If people want to speak English, speak English. You speak whatever language you want. I don't care.
No, they're
But
the
stop
worst.
using Canadian taxpayer dollars. Stop taking from Alberta and start and handing it over to,
They're
a
like
less productive province like Quebec.
they're mobsters. They're like
Yeah.
teamsters there. It's like you're gonna speak our language. And not only
Yeah.
that, you're not getting a fucking pipeline through here ever, no matter what you do. No,
Exactly.
you're not
Yeah.
getting that stuff to the eastern seaboard so that we can all make a goddamn fortune.
We got like
right?
a village or two in the way, and we got like
Yeah, some
literally
Indians
nothing's up
and some
there.
French people.
You got nothing
Goddamn it.
up there. You got just people scattered all over the place and like lumberjacks.
It's crazy.
We got to
It's
fix that.
we
We got to
gotta
fix that
fix it.
problem for the greater good. It's a big province. We'll take half the province. We'll give them half.
Let us lay our pipe in you, Quebec. Let
That's what we
us
need.
lay
More
pipe
English pipe into Quebec.
into the French people in
Yes.
Quebec. It's
Yes.
enough already.
This is what it takes. And so
And
I think
the
that's
Indians.
that
Native
discussion.
Indians.
Okay, we're not going to go down that road, but that is part of the conversation too. There is a lot of indigenous
it.
rights that are also, because of the Liberal government over the last 10 years, have been like standing in the way of Canada moving forward together as one country.
Yeah, it's enough.
French, English, natives,
It's enough.
immigrants, all of us, we're all part of Canada. We're all one country. We all want the same thing. Everybody's pulling at each other to try to take, something that's better for, for them, including Toronto, including Ontario. I get that. And we need to all work together in order to be able to come up with like a one Canada plan. And I think that's the best benefit that this whole tariff war has done for us, is it's highlighted the importance of a united Canada,
United
which
Canada.
we don't have.
We don't have TK.
And
If you
Carney is
guys-
not the one to do it.
If you guys vote for me, TK, I will bomb Alberta. Okay. I will bomb Quebec.
Okay.
I will do both of that for all of us. Okay. I will
Yeah.
get things back in order. Just warning bombs. I'm not trying to take everybody out. Just want to make sure everybody understands, guys.
Yeah.
Shake it off. Wake up. We're all on the same team. Okay. We're not unified. Okay. You guys gotta shake people up with bombs, TK.
Sure.
Okay. This is how it has
Well,
to
there was
happen.
one good thing that came out of the Liberal government winning. More funding is going to be provided to CBC. So
Right.
thank God.
Instead of defense spending.
Thank God
right?
CBC will be saved and the broadcaster will be able to report honestly and ethically. Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change? Anywhere in Ontario, guess what? We're hiring. Frankly and Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Frankly and Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
What's going on with tariffs and us and China right now?
Tariffs
Do we
and us
know?
and
Like, don't we
China.
have giant tariffs on us from China right now on all kinds of stuff? Or
Yep, 100%.
like, are we friends with China? Are we not friends with China? Like
Well, we issued all the electric car tariffs and other, stuff last year. I think some agricultural stuff too.
we
So
also
they came back when everyone
kidnapped
was
we
throwing around
kidnapped
tariffs. They were like, "Hey, we'll just tariff everything coming out of Canada."
but we kidnapped Huawei's like daughter or something
I
for
wouldn't say
the
that. We just,
we just held her hostage.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean kidnapped. I meant we held her hostage. Totally different. Right? But didn't we like we're playing both sides of the fence here, right? Like we're fighting back with all of like the same vigor as China on the tariffs
Yeah.
while also fucking around with China a little bit, but also doing everybody's bidding at the
And no
same
one,
time.
no one
What's
like
going on
really
here?
respects us, really.
We're just a bunch. I'm telling you, we're Zimbabwe. They're just coming in. They're just taking the shit. They're just making us all feel like we got a little bit of freedom. Meanwhile, now, like nobody can afford a grilled cheese, for God's sakes. Have you seen the price of a grilled cheese lately,
What
TK?
do you mean? I don't buy grilled cheese. I make it at home myself. So what do
Well,
you mean?
that's your first mistake.
So where's the
Because
price of grilled cheese? Is there like a
yeah, go on Poly Markets. Oh my God. So Poly Market ended up being right. Thank God. I was gonna bet on
good thing
Poly
those
everywhere.
polls are so accurate. Thank God we've got those
They were
polls. Man,
accurate
those polls
though.
are fantastic.
But hold on, after all that bullshit about everybody saying polls are bullshit and
I think it
polls
was
are
us that
wrong,
was
and
saying that. I mean, we were just hopeful. It was wishful thinking here, guys. Come on.
well, we do lead the
I
pack, but we're
wasn't
not everybody.
I wasn't
And
doing the polls.
a lot of people were saying that the polls are bullshit, that there's a small sampling and it's the 65-year-old women. Maybe that was me saying all that, TK. I don't know. I feel like it was more than just me.
Yeah.
But the point is that it seems like either the polls were right, okay, or maybe it was a completely coordinated effort by the Illuminati through the media and the government and the World Economic Forum to take control of Canada for good.
Listen, I will tell you this, as anti-conspiratorial as I am, Daryl, I will say that what you just said
Got
might
legs.
have some truth to
It's got
it.
some legs in there,
Okay,
right?
I'm not gonna say it's like 100% true. There's a
Hmm.
bunch of Canadians who definitely voted Liberal. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But there might be some foreign influence, and they were like, which one of our guys could we put in as the new prime minister? And it was kind of like perfect timing. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
sat down, Justin. They said, "Kid, you did good.
Yeah.
You did good. You tried your best. You
You
got
did.
us through the first 6 innings.
A lot of
You should be
pronouns.
proud of yourselves. We've
A lot
got
of pronouns.
weed is legal. We
Weed is
got,
legal.
pronouns are there's an infinite amount of pronouns that
Infinite amount of
people can be
pronouns.
called at any time.
Yeah. Or you're
People,
a
it's safe
racist.
now to do drugs in parks. So
Yeah.
people, and if you don't have time to go home, you can just pitch a tent and you can stay in that same park and
Call it
nobody's going
home.
to bother you.
Yeah.
That will
Hey,
be your new home.
your new
Okay?
address
Taxes higher than ever. Okay? And the government debt, the wasted spending also higher than ever. And
on
more of
hyperdrive.
our friends are rich now than ever before. You did good, kid.
Well done.
But the rest of the few innings, this is what's the pitch? When they change the pitchers?
Yeah.
It's one of those
Reliever.
speeches. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's one of those
it's a little pep talk.
little
Like you
pep talk telling him, hey, you did great, slap him on the butt and
little
say,
bum tush
you know what I
rub. Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
they're bringing in the next guy and it's Carney.
Yeah. This could
And they're
listen.
like, hey,
You're not doing so good
he'll take it
anymore.
from here.
You're
His
doing
arm
okay.
is
Yeah. He's better
strong.
than you.
Yeah.
You're kind of not doing so good anymore.
But Carney's only got so many pitches, like the typical closer would, right?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's old, TK. He's
Yeah.
past his
So
prime,
he's
but
just gonna
he's willing to
pump
do
us
what
full
it
of 4 years
takes.
of trauma.
He'll throw at your head if he has to. So
Trauma.
are we going to see a better economy in Canada? Are we going to see things that happen that make Canada pick up? Our GDP per capita pick up, our GDP pick up, our housing market pick up. Are we going to, is this guy, because he is known, well, to the people that know what I know, he's known, TK, to be
Mhm.
somewhat of a printer. Okay. His answer generally is printing more and more money. Okay.
Well, I can tell you that as far as provincially goes, Ontario's expected GDP growth in 2025, Ontario, although having one of the highest number of new residents, has got one of the lowest projected GDP growths in the entire country.
Probably on the
So
planet.
no, but definitely with respect to our country goes, like Alberta, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, highest, Ontario, one of the lowest. So we're gonna have a really tough time, and that's also adding all the new faces, like having hundreds of thousands of people more, whereas our GDP output is still gonna be at the lowest. Why? Why is that, Joe?
Because we
Easy
don't
answer.
do anything here. We're
Easy answer.
useless. Oh,
Real estate.
real estate is down.
Easy answer. Yeah.
Y-
Once the real estate industry gets just crushed like it has, all of a sudden, like I was talking to someone last night, big construction company, huge, massive construction company, and the jobs that they're doing are mostly now just government jobs, hospitals, police stations, fire halls, all that kind of stuff. He says the condo business is going down. He says they are starting to do purpose-built rentals, which is good, but overall, their company, which is like top five construction companies in Canada or Ontario, I'll say at least, they're not doing those big condo projects anymore, right?
Sure.
And so that takes off a lot of jobs. Okay. Then you've got all the, residual, like we were talking about the developers, where they're laying off 20% of their staff, their designers, their architects, their engineers, their planners, all those kind of guys, right? They need work.
Yeah.
Then the construction
But
workers, the
it
guys, the
trickles.
individual guys, right?
Yeah. It
The real
trickles
estate
though.
people,
Yeah.
right? The designers, all
Yeah.
the guys who are all involved in this project are all going to be hanging up their hats for a few years because nothing's going to, get started until we have another real estate boom.
Yeah.
Because we had it really good for a long time.
But that's the problem. It's not the real estate collapsed. Okay. The
Yeah.
problem is that there's nothing else going on. Okay. So that
Mm.
if the real estate collapses or if everything collapses, like it's really bad because it's like one industry almost, right? A
Hmm.
quarter of this is what they tell us it's a quarter. So it's probably more like 40% of Canada, one way or another, touches the real estate somehow, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a stager or a furniture store or a delivery company, or like just somebody makes the plastic wrap for toilets, for God's sakes. Like all this stuff slows down completely. And we
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. Like we still have 150 cranes in the sky, that we still have people building stuff all over the place that started years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, right? It takes 2 years for some of these guys to get out of the ground with their underground parking, for God's sakes,
Hmm.
right? I don't know. So, but I'm still trying to figure out, okay, because if he's known for printing and we're going downward economy wise, it kind of opens the door maybe for lower interest rates and government spending that should stimulate something. Maybe not real estate. Maybe it'd be smart to stimulate stuff other than real estate. Like how about offering people, we talked about it before, cheap loans to start a business, like or something inventive, ingenuitive, something, I don't fucking know. We need more stuff going on here though, other than real estate is the point I'm trying to make. And
Yeah.
not purpose built rental, you
And
know?
that's actually another positive, right? So like always trying to find where, we're going to come out better. We need to stop relying on real estate in Ontario. We have to stop it. We have to learn our
Yeah.
lesson and say, okay, let's try something else. Let's
What?
figure out what other industries are out there. There's lots of
Dude,
tech. Look at all the AI stuff that they got going on right now. There's a
tech.
ton of tech
So much
that
tech.
people are going to be going into right now. Even people who are like older, you know what I mean? Like let's say somebody who's mature, they've already got their business, they're in their 40s, 50s, their school has nothing to do with AI and all that kind of stuff. They're going to pivot and they're going to say, "Okay, I'm going to start going into some sort of tech company because that's going to be more in line with what the market's telling me to do." And that
Yeah.
market's only going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
wish I
that's a
got
huge
into
market.
tech a few years ago before like the boom happens.
Yeah,
That'd be
well, it's
super
never too
cool.
late. You got your own thing going on right now. You got shrubs going on, right?
Yeah.
So
I
there's
am
all these type of
so
things.
ahead of the curves, TK. This
Yeah,
was the problem even back in 2006. I was too ahead of things that I got
yeah,
whacked.
yeah.
Hopefully this time I don't get whacked, TK. I feel
You're not
like,
going to get whacked.
no, you know what? I had a
Yeah,
meeting yesterday with a guy.
yeah.
Every meeting I go into with a potential partner or a lender,
Yeah.
It's not okay. The lending situation is a fucking disaster bomb. But TK, I'm getting offers that are unreal for this environment on these deals. It's like even I try and like put on my investor cap while I'm
Mhm.
looking at it, even though I also have on my developer cap, which is like worlds apart, right? One of them's like risk off, and one of them's like balls to the wall, as much risk as possible.
Go,
And
go,
so,
go, 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 go,
right.
go.
But if I'm
Build,
a
build.
right, but if
Yeah.
I'm a lender who's like risk off, we got to be safe and make sure that we bring in returns and like don't lose people's money, right?
Yeah.
Like there's only so much you should be willing to do. And because the deals are so strong, they're getting wild offers. Not what I was hoping for, but like wild. It's
Mm.
unbelievable. And then when I meet with other people or just even any realtor, literally anybody, they're like, it's the only thing that's still moving, and you've
Mm.
got the best site. You got a home run there. You got nothing to worry about over there. And I'm like,
Mm.
I mean, I get if everybody's saying the same thing, I don't even know if it means anything, quite honestly.
Mm.
I feel good about it because there's nobody going like, I don't know, but maybe you should be careful over there. Other than D Trent, he scares the fucking bejeebus out of me. But I think he even said that he thinks that my deals are solid, which I don't
Yeah.
know how he knows. But the point is, TK, there's things like you even say, still moving, still doing okay, and then the
Yeah.
rest, which is like
Yeah.
you do not want to be part of the rest, whatever that is.
This is
Whether
the
it's
thing. It's not that. Everything is moving right now. Okay. I just sold like how many condos did I sell recently? Well, just this month alone, I sold, I think, 3 or something. Like everyone said me you can't sell condos and all that. Every condo is getting offers and we're getting them sold because pricing.
you got a
Like
price
I'm
around.
not calling it like, where I'm standing on the street like Little Caesars with a sign saying, come and buy this condo. We
Yeah,
obviously have a plan put together on our team for the marketing, but also I look at what's being sold and what needs the price needs to be at in order to be able to get a property sold. And so your deal just has so much room in it. That's the
yeah,
best part. You bought it cheap and the delta between where you bought and how much the peak pricing was massive.
yeah,
And so you have the ability to be able to sell no matter what market's in. That's why you're going to be fine.
yeah,
It's the people who bought at $200 a buildable, expecting to get $1,800 a square foot when they sold,
yeah.
and now can only get 13 or 14,
Or 11.
whatever. They,
Yeah.
they can't get it. They just can't make it work anymore,
No,
right?
but even
Because that was their
worse,
profit.
it's when they bought it for whatever,
Mhm.
let's say 20, and then they rezoned it, assuming it was going to be worth 32, and they
Mhm.
came back and it was worth 15.
But that's a financing issue.
But this is the
The
problem
big boy, the
is
big boys, they don't have those financing
no, they
issues.
have
It's that
cash.
they won't profit. So there's no profit in it because of the type of deal that they've got, right? Because they bought land too in the last 5 years, right? For too high.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure they did. Look at
Yeah.
Tridel. Tridel has got so many sites with a big fence around it and a nice picture that says now selling or something on it.
But Tridell's more of a general
And
contractor
does
nowadays.
doesn't matter. They've got a bunch of sites that are sitting there empty, already demoed or about to be.
Mhm.
That those aren't moving anytime soon.
No, it's a few guys, but those guys like Tridell can go, okay, we'll just wait
Yep.
until conditions make more sense and
Yeah.
have a nice day. It's all these other guys like you see like Gluber Homes or something, or you see Nightshade Developments, or you see
Yeah.
these things you never heard of these guys before, and you go,
Yeah.
how the fuck did they get this site and why is it a 50-story building? These
Yeah.
guys are going to get crunched, right?
Yeah.
And look, in a certain market, those guys make out like bandits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't it.
Yeah.
This is not it. It's funny. I was looking at, do you remember that guy we had on years ago, Steven Velasco or something, who made the
A little
3D
bit. Yeah.
model
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
thing?
He was good. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
He
his
didn't make
thing
any
is
money
really
from
good.
that.
I
Yeah.
don't know. His site's like, he must be doing something because it's
Yeah.
still around and it's like
Sure.
the thing is huge.
It's great. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
The stuff that he does is great.
So it was showing North York, Young and Steels, and the
Mhm.
amount of like proposals that are in around there. And I'm looking a little north of there, and I see these two 60-story towers on a site just north of Young and
That's the
Steels.
one that I showed you.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is like it's
That's for sale
crazy.
now.
Yeah, but is it on the market
It's on the market now for $1.
for $1?
Yeah.
and they still think it's in the 40s.
I don't know.
Oh my God,
I don't know.
TK. That thing's
So, I
sitting
don't want to talk about
forever.
that on the show, but that's a story. I'm just walking away.
I think it's so funny though that on the model you see like there's a
Yeah.
lot of height
Anything with
or
an application. Yeah.
anything with an application,
Anything with
but
an application would make
it's
that model.
scary though how
Yeah.
many applications there are in the city. Like just
Yeah.
at
But
Youngins,
applications are applications,
I
Daryl.
know they are, but generally applications are for a purpose. They're not for no reason. People don't
Of
spend
course.
all this money for nothing. So, right, either somebody was planning or is
Yeah.
planning to do something, or
Yeah.
somebody needed to. I mean, I guess there was a time when people were locking in some grandfather rules or something like that. They'd get some application or zoning just to
Yeah.
like, not have
Well,
to do
well,
some stupid shit.
Toronto introduced that bylaw where if you get your zoning and you don't build within 2 or 3 years,
Or you lose your permits.
you lose it. Yeah.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of
Don't
permits that
use
are
it, lose
lost.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Is
So
that
all those,
did that happen? I don't
yeah,
think that
remember
happened.
that was when Tory was still the mayor.
It, I don't think that's in place.
No,
I don't think so.
but you remember that.
I remember that. And I remember that even coming up more recently as part
Yeah.
of one of these plans to
Yeah.
accelerate things.
Yeah.
Eh, it's such bad timing. Like
Yeah.
they did so many things that like back in the day or even
Late.
a few years ago would have made a big difference
Yeah.
and would have really been helpful. And they got to it too late. And now it's like you did all this stuff and nobody can use it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
I know.
How are you so stupid? How are all of our systems so stupid that nothing works properly and that you can't like everything's so big and fat? So I think what I was getting at before, like with my projects and with my tech thing, is like I'm so small, I get to think a lot, and I get to see how I think things are unfolding and I get to change directions easily with what I think is going to happen and take a risk in a different way. These big machines in governments, it's like there's so many people have to say something about every goddamn thing that has to happen. It's like no wonder everything's fucked up. You can't change things fast enough to react to the world that goes so fast right now. It's like the real estate market, for example. This thing moves daily, right? It's like a volatile, regular moving, like almost like a stock market. You can track it. People are fucking talking about it all the time, analyzing it to death like a stock market. The world's changed. It's fast, right? Things are so over analyzed. It's like how are things the same all around that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Remember when
Old,
we talked about before? You talked to the people who made all the money in real estate before, and they said the market made them look like geniuses,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
This has been what it was. Like I know everyone wants to have their strategy. I'm a guilty of this too. Stock people, it's the same thing. Everyone's like, no, I got the strategy. I know how to make money. I got the plan. I got all that stuff. But it's the market. It's the market
It's the
that does,
time.
right? Everything for the investor, And
But
like if
it's
you look at Warren Buffett or any of those guys' strategies and all that stuff, sure, they got some great plays and everything too. But, he's been in the market for, you know, 70 years or whatever it is, right? Like he's just
well,
been in the right places, letting the market do its thing and, compounding over time. Guys who own land and all that kind of stuff, just buy it and hold it, and you'll probably do way better than some, developer who launches 3 projects and then fails on the fourth,
yeah.
you know?
Those are different things. So okay, so the developer, yeah, okay. So maybe somebody who goes and buys and holds rental buildings forever is more like a Warren Buffett, whose strategy is just like buy something good and hold it forever and don't worry
Yeah.
about what's going on around you. The
Yeah.
developer, on the other hand, you have to worry about what's going on around you because timing is of the essence. And if your timing is off, the whole thing. And so the inverse of the statement is true, whereby the market makes us geniuses on the way up. It makes geniuses fucking morons on the way down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Same strategy. And so that's why
Bad
it's
timing.
a numbers game. So the developer who over the course of his lifetime and all the guys I talk to, all the guys who've made a lot of money in real estate, all the guys who are builders and developers, they'll tell me their stories of losing money. They'll tell me where, it went wrong for them or how they got really lucky in one deal and they ended up making a ton of money and they were like, I didn't even expect this to happen, like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just part of the game, and it's just about constantly swinging the bat.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
sorry for all the baseball analogies today, but constantly
Yeah.
swinging the bat,
Yeah.
so that way at least in the long run the market does go up, which is what it is.
Yeah.
So
It
buy. If you're
yeah.
thinking about buying, buy.
It
If you can hang on to the property, hold on to it. Don't
yeah.
don't sell it like the market's going to go down tomorrow. Hang on to it. See what you can do.
Yeah.
But don't just sit at home and do nothing. That's,
Don't
you're
wait
not
for the
taking any
perfect
you're not
environment.
taking any chances. You're not taking any risk. I guarantee you that you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh,
Walter Gretzky.
hockey. There you go.
Walter Gretzky.
Listen, right now, especially because I'm talking to so many other developers and builders and looking to hire or find a partner on the projects, I
Hmm.
get to hear so many crazy war stories by some serious veterans in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And you see like these horrible, crazy things that I mean, with anything that lasts multiple years, you're going to go through cycles and changes and wars and like pandemics and who knows what, right?
Hmm.
Some of these things that these guys have gone through and some of the ways that they dealt with it is like unreal.
Yeah.
Like write books or crazy books. It's amazing. People don't write more books about they're always raising money, right? So they don't
Yeah.
want to tell everybody about all the fuck ups that are going on in the background, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, best deals ever. This is
Well,
beautiful.
there's also a lot of shady negotiations going on too, right? Where
Holy.
sometimes you gotta tell somebody one thing in order to be able to get something else, right? So you can't exactly expose everything,
Yeah, well, everybody's trying to pick a piece of flesh off of you all the time,
right?
right?
Yeah. I
Everybody
don't
wants a piece.
know.
Oh, Darryl, that's the best deal ever. Do you need this?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well, if you give me
holy,
5% of the
yeah,
equity, you
3.5%.
got my support,
Yeah, I
you
can
know?
do anything for you. I can
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, though. It's pretty amazing because I promise you, I'm having thank God, okay? I've had the experiences I've had in the past that led to this because my current experience could be way worse and way scarier. Like I
Hmm.
see it on some guys' faces that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
They're fucked. They're
Yeah.
fucking scared as shit and they're grasping at straws. I can feel it. I was it. I've been that guy. I can
Yeah.
read it on their face. You're fucked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And then you can also get the opposite feeling. Like some of the guys I'm working with, it's like, oh, I can tell this guy's been through it a bunch of times and he's gonna be okay. He
Yeah.
knows that he just has to like keep going, and he
Yeah.
probably has like some bucks in the bank to ride out the storm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that guy's seen some days too, right?
Yeah.
Like unbelievably fucked up stuff because the market makes the genius, right? You'd be a genius in this thing for 30 years in a row, and then boom, like look at Van Dyke, right? I was
Hmm.
talking about this with somebody the other day. It's like Van Dyke, nobody saw coming except for maybe a couple of the lenders, right? Who must have been like, uh-oh, third mortgage, what's going on over here? Right? But for the last, I don't even know how long Van Dyke's been in business for. They like everybody heard that name somehow, some way. They own apartment buildings, they've been developers, they've been like fine. You'd think these guys are gold. Nothing's
Yeah.
going to happen to them. And
Over
then
leveraged. That's it. Buy
over
too
leverage.
fast, buy too much, buy too many deals that you can't get your money out quick enough and you got to borrow too much. And then the time horizon
Time,
kills you. Yeah.
the time horizon. What
Yeah.
killed them really is they bought a giant deal in Mimico and had a hell of a time working with the city.
That
And
was the
so,
straw that broke the camel's back.
well, that just took so long and so
Yeah.
much was riding on that thing and its potential because of what
Hmm.
they paid for it and what they thought it could be worth that
Hmm.
they borrowed against that. And it just started turning into like, oh shit, we need more money and like get another mortgage here, pay for
Yeah.
that, get right. And next
Where's
thing you
our equity?
know,
Yeah. Where's our
right,
equity? Yeah.
right. And it's like fees. And then holy Jesus. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, we can't do it anymore. There's
Yeah.
nothing left. It's
Yeah.
over. Right. Cause then the market goes boom from underneath you. You can
Yeah.
keep that thing up, and guys have kept that thing up, and some guys have even caught up.
When the
And
market, the market
right,
saves them, and they
made
look
them
like
out alive.
geniuses. Yeah.
Right, they catch up.
There's a couple actually people that are coming to us recently with these type of situations where they bought already,
Yeah.
and now their agent's trying to sell their property and they can't sell it. So they're coming to us going like, hey, we want like, a guarantee from you guys because otherwise we're screwed.
Yeah.
And so one of the options for somebody, right, is when we do like our guaranteed buy. So basically we'll give them the mortgage for the new place, right, until their house sells. But we only do that when you buy from us.
Yeah.
So now if you didn't buy from us, you got to have a hard conversation with your agent
Yeah.
because we'd have to become the buyer agent in that deal in order to be able to put up the $2 million or whatever it is you need to make it work.
That's nice.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these are the situations. So the same
Okay,
thing's happening
Charlie,
on
we'll
pre-con.
give you a couple $100.
Well, think about it. So this is on pre-con right now too. So all the assignment deals, okay?
Yeah.
So first of all, the pre-con agent sells the client his whatever $800,000 bachelor, gets his 4%, 2% up front, 2% on closing. Now the assignment agent, because that guy kicks tires, he's not there to even try to help this person. He's like, I don't even know how to do an assignment. I told you that you could assign it. I never said I knew how to assign it.
Yeah. I only told you I'd bring you the client.
You could assign it. I never said I'm going to do that for. I don't even know how to do an assignment.
You'll
be fine.
Me.
Don't
What's
worry.
the difference?
Just assign it.
Hold on, I thought you said he got his second commission on closing.
So the 2%'s paid up front, the 2%'s on closing. So now
the assignment
agent is dealing with the property. They're trying to get rid of this, property because the person, the owner, the one who bought it, the one with the contract, the assignor, he can't close. So thankfully he's found somebody, the assignee, who's actually willing to take over this piece of crap garbage contract at like a $300,000 loss.
Whoa.
All his deposits and money and this and the assignor has no more money. He's bankrupt. He's got nothing left. He can't put anything in this deal. He just wants someone to buy the contract off of him. Okay. Well, the builders have got, assignment fees. They're going to have legal fees. There's going to be some development charges. There's going to be all these different things because of delays and costs, and developers are just, it's in their contract. So they're going to try to figure out if they can squeeze any more money out of this deal, and the lawyers and everybody too. Right. So what do? They go back to the agent who sold him the deal and say, hey, you got 2% coming. That 2% we need.
You had 2% coming.
Exactly. We need that 2% because if we don't put this assignment together, you don't get that 2%. And guess what they do with the other 2% that you got paid? Clawback. There's a clawback clause. They send a bill.
If it doesn't close.
If it doesn't close. Which if the person's in default, it doesn't close. They send a bill to the brokerage. The brokerage has to pay it back.
But not on an assignment that actually closes.
If it closes, it's fine because the builder's happy. They'll still pay out the 2% unless you negotiate with the developer and say you keep that 2%, and then this is how we'll get the deal done. But the clawback means that realtor not only loses his 2%, he might actually have to give back 2%. So he goes, okay, fine, keep the 2%.
Yeah,
I don't want it anymore.
Forget about that. Imagine, TK, you're around realtors every day, and we know that most of them maybe look like they have some money, but they don't. Most of them are either paycheck to paycheck, have maybe a tiny bit put away, or more than likely have borrowed money from somebody on the street at 20% or 60%, right?
Okay.
No?
Yes, I agree. Well, if 76% last year sold 0 houses, then they're in trouble. Yeah.
They're in trouble.
Yeah.
So what was I getting?
I've been there before too. In my days, it's not all sunny, days in real estate. So I've been there before. I've had my ups and downs too. But keep going.
What I was even talking about.
Well, they're going to do things maybe for the money. Like,
I don't remember. I don't know. What were we talking about before?
We were talking about the commission. So if we call the agents,
oh, right. So these people, how are they going to pay back the clawback? Okay.
Clawback?
The guy's
the brokerage does. The brokerage is there. It's their deal. The brokerage has to pay back the money.
No, the guy that brought in the buyer.
Yeah.
He got paid out his commission.
He got paid, but it's the brokerage that's the one that everything's under our brokerages. So the brokerage will pay back the money, and then they'll go to the agent and say, Darryl, you owe me $20,000, by the way.
And
you know those other deals you did, those resale deals that haven't closed yet? Yeah, we're taking off of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Or they have to call a guy, right?
Yeah.
They go, hey, Frankie.
Go visit Darryl down.
Right? Go call Frankie. Right? He'll
Yeah.
give you a loan.
Yeah.
No, but for real, like
I know.
how are they gonna? So yeah, okay. So there's a clawback. Great. Good luck. Get it from me. Go fuck yourself. I'm already in India or China or Persia, wherever all the where are these guys? Okay, where are the platinum agents right now? Where'd they go? Where are they?
I actually heard this story recently.
Wasn't one
So
supposed to be on today?
a developer just flew a bunch of VIP agents to Punta Cana because they have a site down in Punta Cana that they want people to sell.
Yeah.
So they flew a bunch of guys at their cost down to Punta Cana, showed them their site, and said, "Wow, look at this great, new project, villa, resort, whatever it is." And they hope that they're going to sell that to their clients back here in Toronto.
Oh, go on.
I know. So
Imagine.
that's where they are. They're
Yeah.
they're
That's where they went.
pickling the ivory glass balls of developers internationally.
International platinum agents now.
Yeah.
That is one thing that is definitely done, I think.
In Toronto, it's done. Yeah.
Done.
Thank God. Yeah.
Done. And I don't know what it turns into.
Until one Thelma. Then it's on again.
No, there's no platinum
Get your
agents.
Well, you know what I'm saying, like pre-construction condo.
No, pre-construct, like one Thelma is different. It's like 24 custom homes in like a super unique spot. It's like it's not even the same thing. We're talking about 475 square foot one bedrooms. They're not even bachelors. Okay. We're talking about 680 square foot two bedrooms.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not talking about normal stuff that people want. Look, I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty goddamn sure that there's 20 or 16 people that want a unit in my building. 100%.
Yeah.
Most of them are chomping at the bit, waiting for us to just fucking tell them what the hell the sizes are and how much they cost and where they can sign something.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. And then if we add on the right components, like I have planned in my head, like the right builder brings in some clients with them, right? The right designer brings in some clients. Our architects for sure bringing in some clients, right? And we've already cultivated some. We haven't even got the ball rolling.
The show, we're like, guys, if you want a unit, talk to us. Let us know.
Got a few $1,000,000 kicking around. No more.
These are the best units. You got the best units in Toronto.
The best units in Toronto. TK, I'm so excited. Now we just unlocked more penthouse space.
Ooh.
Right? We took the amenity off the penthouse.
So is it going to be 2 penthouse units?
Genius level move. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
3.
know how much no, definitely not 3. If anything, it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It was 2,800 square feet. Now we just gained like 1,300 more square feet. So
a 4,000 square foot penthouse.
Pretty sweet.
You know what I mean?
Pretty
For like a lot of 8 figures.
$20 million
for 8 figures. Yeah.
People are selling stuff. I talked to a guy yesterday who built a very comparable product in the same neighborhood and sold stuff recently, TK, for $3,000 a foot, bro.
Nice.
Whoa.
Okay.
I've never put that number anywhere close to a performer because it will make it explode.
It'll make it explode.
It'll make
yes.
Make me explode.
My references are not.
I wish I didn't even
podcast.
Hear it. No, those are not for this show.
Yeah.
But yes, when I heard that, TK, and he's like, I just did a deal, 2 deals in the last 6 months, one at $2,750 and one at $3,000, and I was like,
but we need more than 2 deals in 6 months.
Yeah, but his is like left over the last few pieces that he had after construction that he's just like holding out for the right scenario.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He's also been at it for a long time. I don't even understand that, but that's for another day, TK. The moral of the story is everybody else is going down, and me and a couple other lucky guys who just happen to be in the right space are going to be okay, TK. We're all going to be okay.
Nothing but up.
Nothing but
the Canadian Real Estate Show, One Thelma, DealCore, Frankly and Associates. Nothing but up.
Nothing but up, TK.
At least that's our attitude, and nobody's going to change that.
Nobody's taking it from me. Not even the trend, TK.
Another banger, Daryl. thank you very
Okay.
much for joining me today on the Canadian Real Estate Show.
Appreciate
You've been a great
time.
guest.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for
appreciate your
inviting
time.
me.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Anytime. I knew
Anytime.
we'd have a guest today. I thought it
I
was going to
could-
be someone else, but it turned out to be you.
I could almost be here like weekly if you needed it.
You know what? Let's talk about it.
It's on the
Let's
table.
do breakfast.
Anyways,
Let's do
it's on
breakfast
the
and talk about it.
table.
Okay.
If you want to consider it, I would think about it too.
Yep. Let's talk it over breakfast. See
For
what we can
those
do.
people that haven't subscribed to this thing,
Why not?
I don't just don't get it.
What the heck are you doing?
We're close to 10,000. We're
How do you
coming
look
up
yourself
on
in the
10,000.
mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Guys, you got to
the
get to
Clips
10,000.
channel, like what's going on? Clips channel's ripping. I'll bet all those other guys wish they had Clips channels, TK.
I bet all those other guys wish they had as many views per week on all of our channels like we do.
It's truly insane. I was calculating it the other day, and we're
It's billions.
it's
Billions.
how many billions of views can people watch of Canadian real estate for
Billions.
Christ's sakes?
It's just, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's gotta be us. It's gotta be
Must
something
be.
about us. TK.
Must be.
So in case
I
you
never
didn't
really read any
realize-
positive comments, but hey, a view is a view is a view, like they say. So thank you for your
like
views.
they say. All
Yeah.
right. Well, TK,
We'll see you next week.
we did it.